Let me quickly go back across to our panel, and before we dive into some more aspects concerning the budget and also some other sector-specific questions for all of you, some larger trends now, for your sector, for your business, for the country's economy at large. What's a trend that you're forecasting that you perhaps believe is here to stay, and we are going to see much more of in the months and weeks ahead? Anil?
Yeah, I think on this very show a few months ago when we were talking about some of the learnings of lockdown, and we talked about how digital has become the mainstream and it is here to stay. And as a digital lender, as a fintech NBFC, that trend line is very much there and is very much here to stay. But from an overall industry perspective, the fact that digital is here to stay means all of a sudden the competition has increased. The traditional banks have realized it, the traditional NBFCs have realized it, and all of them are now making investments, small and large, either directly or through partnerships and acquisitions, trying to get into this space. So I think that's one thing that, especially in the lending and financial services space, the digital as a medium of acquisition of customer as well as the delivery of the service will continue to be the mainstream. And just looking towards the demand side of it, we definitely have seen a demand pickup, especially post starting December, coming into the new year. And if you looked at where India was from a COVID standpoint, months ago, roughly about 85-90,000 cases, and the United States was almost at this, and then US went up to a 250,000 peak, and we kind of dropped to a 15,000 per case load. And as Annurag was mentioning during the break, we can see the change in the economy. It is, it's kind of ubiquitously, you kind of feel it, where people are going out more, people seem to have come back to spending, which is all boding well for the credit industry. And as much as Anurag was mentioning earlier in the call about F&B and healthcare sectors being, and tourism being some of the worst affected sectors, the financial services sector, especially the lending space, was one of the most challenging sectors during the lockdown, especially with the loan moratoriums that we had in place and the ability to collect kind of reducing. So it is on one end, as the moratoriums expired, we have seen that the customer payment behavior has come back, which is a very important thing for any lending company. And as the demand has started to increase, which you can see in the GST collections, which are near peak now, the demand has started to flow, and that's starting to percolate to us in terms of the loan applications we are seeing. So I think from here on out, in terms of the demand, we just expect it to keep growing exponentially, at least on the lending side, because if I'm looking at the application volumes and the total credit demand, just on the digital side, it's almost to the pre-COVID levels. The overall credit demand may not have reached there. If you just slice it to the digital channel, it's almost getting there. So it's a great place for us to be in, servicing the underserved and trying to expand the credit market within India. So we are excited about where we are at and what it could mean for our industry in this coming through.